Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, and if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous support. I don't want this video to be long, so I'm just gonna get straight into the story time. Today I'm going to talk about how I grew up. I feel like I need to share this because maybe there's someone out there who had the same experience that I did growing up, and maybe you guys can relate to how I was feeling when I was growing up and how different my childhood is from everyone, especially being said that most people grow up in the same neighborhood with the same friends, with the same people in the same school, and they have the same friends for years, whereas my experience was different. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, let's get into the video. So, guys, I grew up in KZN, Newcastle. That's where I was born, and that's where I grew up. So, growing up, I lived in the suburbs in Arbor Park with my parents and my brother. I had like white neighbors and white friends. I went to a white school. I had both black friends and white friends in school, in preschool, and I used to enjoy a lot of swimming. So I used to go to swim every weekend, like every Saturday, like from the time the public pool opens at 12 p.m. I'm there, and up until they close at 5 p.m. I'm there. It was just a walking distance from my house, so I just walk by myself, go to swim, spend time with my friends. And yeah, that's how things were. Like, life was very, very simple. Went to primary, and I went to Busy Bee Primary. There was a pool at school, so my mother signed me up for swimming classes again because I love to swim. So I was taught how to swim. The Busy Bee school was from grade 1 up until grade 3, so it didn't have 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I had to go out of that school after grade 3. So that's what I did. I went to another school, which was Newcastle Senior Primary School. And with the same friends that I was with in Busy Bee, I adopted other friends as well when I got to the other primary school. And yeah, life went on. Sometimes you think that you're going to take the friends that you were going with that you were friends with in the previous school to your next school, but you when you get there, you find out that you guys are grown, and you grow apart, and which is okay to grow apart. So we grew apart. It was okay. We were still friends, and also being in different classes, you start to make new friends because obviously your friends are in other classes, so you can't be with them. So I got into I got new friends. I had an Indian friend, I had a colored friend, I had a white friend, I had a black friend, I had all races, and everything was fine. We were friends. There was no racism, there was no discrimination, everything was perfect, you guys. Everything was perfect. And we were planning that we're going to go to this high school all together, and just go to the same university. Like, we were planning ahead. It was not until my parents decided that we're moving and we're going to Mpumalanga. So now, okay, I'm telling my friends, you guys are moving, I don't know when I'll see you guys or if I'll ever see you guys, but I'm moving. So back then, we didn't have like social media like that. Like, Facebook was there, I think Instagram was there as well. Like, all the apps were there, but it wasn't as much as it is now. Like, now you can find people on social media as quick, but back then social media wasn't such a big thing, so we weren't thinking that maybe you should exchange numbers. Like, back then there was only Mixit was the one app that was popping. So sharp. Grade 8 comes, and I'm in a new environment. Now I'm no longer in the suburbs. Now I'm in the location. I'm in the township. Like life is different, you know. I'm adjusting to living in the township, whereas I was in the burbs. Like, you know, life. You guys know, like life in the township and life in the suburbs is totally different. So now I have to adjust to this new life. But my parents tell me that, yo, we got you a white school, so it's not that different from your old school, so you'll be fine. And I'm like, yo, thank God I'm not going to attend a school in the township. I get to go to a white school, you know, something that I'm used to. Okay, I go to the school and it's a nice school. When I get there, I found out that the white learners do Afrikaans as a first language, which means they are are in a different class than we are, who are doing English as a first language. So for me, it was just like, okay, there's a divide, you know, like white people this side, black people this side. Okay, I'm still adjusting to that, you know. I'm used to having all types of races as my friends. Now I get to the school and it's different. Like, white people are friends with themselves, there's no black people, and then the black people are like that. So I asked them, my fellow classmates, that is this how it goes? They're like, yeah, it's been like that since primary. Like, you know, white people, we let them do their thing and they let us do our thing. So I asked them, like, why aren't you guys making friends? Like, why aren't you guys a unit? You are from the same school anyway. So they're like, no, they don't want to be associated with us. So for me, that was just like, is that even normal? Like, why would you not want to be associated with other people just like you? So that's when I started to understand what racism is. I didn't know, you guys. Like, I never experienced it. I've never heard the word. Like, I was just learning that there's such a thing as racism. There's such a thing as someone hating you because of your skin color. Okay, start to adjust. I start to make friends with my fellow black people, like, and stuff. But I'm still hurt because I'm just like, why are we divided? But other people around me aren't like me. They don't see a problem. To them, it's just normal. So school commences as usual. You know, I was a person who really loved school, so I always looked forward to going to school, but I just couldn't handle how divided we are, like in lines, white people this side, black people this side. In the assembly hall, when there's assembly, the roles would be white, black, white, black, white, black. Like like we were one school but we were divided. Like, I'm just appreciating the fact that the teachers weren't racist. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the teachers were really nice people. They really loved to teach us. And when I say us, I mean like black people. They were looking forward to teaching us, even though, like, when it came to the school being so full and they were short staffed, we had to be combined now. So now it's white and black in one class, and the teacher had to be in a point where she had to explain in Afrikaans and explain in English. So it was just one of those things, you know, because we knew Afrikaans because we took it as a second language, and they also knew English because they took it as a second language. So I didn't get why the teacher had to speak in both languages, if even though we know the other language, but not that much, you know. Like, I'm sure they didn't know English as much as we did, even though English is like the universal language. Everyone is supposed to know how to speak in English. Okay, like, it was grade 8, it was good, you know. I was adjusting. Obviously you have to adjusting also to the, so now grade 9 comes and I tell my parents that, you know, I'm not really happy in that school. There's so much racism, I can't really handle it. So they decide that I can change schools and go to Johannesburg. So now I go to Johannesburg to live with my aunts, and another change now. Like, you know how the big cities are, life is very, very fast compared to what I'm used to. You know, life is very, very fast paced in the big cities. So I had to adjust to that, like, but it was I really, really liked that school, even though, like, yo, it was the ghetto, guys. They had bashes. Okay, in that school, it was like, it was a, what do they call it? English medium school, I think, where we have English as a first language and Afrikaans as a second language, but there was only black people. You get what I mean? Like, not the other schools where we have isiZulu as a first language. I think you guys get my point. But it was only black people, so for me it was just like, I'm adjusting. It was fine, it was cool, like, but it was very, very fast paced, like, and it was also the time of Ikotane, like, they were dancing and there was bashes, so I was getting used to the bashes, I was getting used to the dancing, even though at first for me it was just like, yo guys, I don't want to be associated with that. That looks ghetto, that looks like, yeah, that looks suspicious, but as time went on, you know how when you're in your life, like, you adjust, you have no choice but to adjust to what is going on in your life. So after grade 9, like, okay, the school was fine, I wanted to carry on, I had new friends, but now the problem was where I was staying at. I did not want to stay with my aunt any longer because it was just, it's something different. Like, I'm used to living with my parents all my life. Now I'm living with someone and I have to follow their rules, and I'm just not able to do that. Like, and also at this stage I was at 15. I was 15. So also I'm going through adolescence and all of that ish. So things are changing. So I decide, no, let me go back to that school that I was in, that white school, because it was actually a nice school and I actually liked it. Because you know how, like, I don't want to discriminate black schools, but you know how they don't fall in that school. We had sports, ne? But it was not something that was important as it is in the white school. Like, you know how white schools, athletics is very important. It's part of your academics. You have to participate in sports. So I really loved that, and I really loved the varieties of sports they had. They had tennis, they had cricket, they had rugby, they had, yeah, and athletics, and also netball and hockey. There was a lot of sports. So in the school that I was in grade 9, they only had soccer and netball. They didn't have athletics. So I wasn't really too pleased about that. Like, I wasn't really happy about that. So wait. Okay, I'm back, guys. So as I was saying, that I wasn't really into a school that has, I don't want to say no direction, but when they're like, today is sports, okay, bring your sports clothes, and then you bring them, and then the next thing, no, sports is cancelled due to this, that. We don't have a sports teacher today, she's sick. Like, I'm not used to that. So I went back to the white school, and that's when things turned for the worst, you guys. I was bullied. It was the worst experience ever. I'm going to make a video where I tell you guys what happened with the bullying and stuff, because it was really hectic. It was hectic, you guys. So with the bullying happening and stuff, so I talked to my parents, and we decided that I'm going to go. We decided that I'm going to go. No, you know what happened? The same time that the bullying was happening is the same time that my parents were deciding that we need to move elsewhere. So when we moved, that's when I changed schools, and this is now grade 11. So now my parents like last minute looking for a school for me, and I do not get taken to the school that I wanted to go to, which was similar to the school that I was in grade 10. So we get the school, and my parents are just like, yeah, I don't have the uniform yet. You'll buy the uniform at school, so just take a bus. So now I'm seeing like a lot of buses. So I decide to just hop on a bus that has like learners inside. So I hop on this bus, and so my parents told me that the school that I'm going to's uniform is maroon. So when I get into this bus, these children are wearing school t-shirts. No one is wearing a jersey, nothing. So I'm thinking, is this the right bus? So the bus goes, and I get to the school, and I'm like, oh, this is a nice school. So as I go off the bus, I asked one of the learners, is this this school, I say the name of the school, and the learner's like, no. And the learner's like, no, this is not the school that you're supposed to go to. And she asked the bus driver to take me to the school because she says, your school is by the bus depot. So that's where all the buses go after they're done working in the morning. So the driver's like, yeah, sure, I'll drop you off. So the driver drops me off at that school. And when I get there, you guys, it was reeking of weed. Like, I'm just like, is this the weed that the learners are smoking in the school premises? Oh, it was the ghetto. So I get there and I maneuver myself, I get myself a jersey, and now I'm thinking, am I going to survive in the school? But yeah, guys, long story short, I had to adjust to the school. It was a pretty nice school, even though it wasn't a school that I would want to go to myself, or I would want my kids to go to, because you get really, really easily influenced. And it's one of those schools where if you don't work hard by yourself, no one is going to push you. There's no like, if you do something wrong, nothing's gonna happen to you. You get what I mean? There's no repercussions for your actions. There's no consequences for the wrong things that you do. It's like college. Like, no one cares what you do, as long as you do your work and you pass and you do what you do. Those that don't do what they're supposed to, it's their problem. It's just one of those schools. So yeah, I was in that school, and yeah, I finished my grade 12, but I wouldn't really recommend you guys go to that school. But as time goes, I'll be telling you guys like little bits of stories that I cut from this video, because I really don't want the video to be long. My story time videos are so long, and I really don't like that, you guys. I just want story times to be like 30 minutes or less, like not 40 minutes, that's too long. So with that being said, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoy this video, because I had a really, really hard time filming because of the space on my phone. But I'm really glad that I'm reached the end of the video, and please don't forget to like, comment,